From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Wednesday, June 22nd. It's going to feel miserable outside today, increasing humidity for the first half of our Wednesday. Then by this afternoon, a front will spark the chance for a few storms. Highs are going to stay on the hotter side, numbers jumping back into the 90s with that humidity. President Biden, in breaking news this morning, is calling on Congress to lift the federal gas tax for 3 months. He's also asking states to take similar measures to lower prices at the pump. So far, Governor Holcomb and state lawmakers have opposed such a move. Currently, the federal tax is 18 cents per gallon of gasoline and 24 cents for diesel. Biden is asking Congress to make the move without taking money away from the Highway Trust Fund. And drivers in Indiana are feeling a little bit of relief at the pump as gas prices slowly drop in the Hoosier state. Gas Buddy reports the state average for a gallon of unleaded is just over $5.10 a gallon. That's almost 2 cents less than yesterday, 10 cents less than last week. Indiana now sits at the 12th most expensive state for gas in the country. Wish TV wants to make it easier for you to find the cheapest gas. Go to wishtv.com. You're going to find a map, and it'll have all of the prices in your area. The Bargersville Fire Department hosted a demonstration yesterday to show just how quickly a car can heat up. Firefighters say temperatures inside cars can rise 20 degrees in just 10 minutes. A person's internal body temperature can also rise to the point of organ damage or failure. The fire department says children overheat 4 times faster than adults, putting their lives in danger within minutes.
So I've been on calls throughout my career where someone has called 911 because there's a child left in a car. Police, fire responded, made sure the child was okay. Or we've had parents call that accidentally turned around and locked the car with the child inside and immediately called 911 to get us there.
According to national nonprofit Kids and Cars, 5 children have died in hot cars in the U.S. so far this year. As the city hits 100 homicides less than halfway through the year, Indianapolis groups are working to curb the crisis of violence. One is the New Boy Mentorship Program. Kareem Hines founded it. He says people would be shocked if they knew what young people actually experience on the street. His program aims to reach them before crime becomes a lifestyle.
So removing them from what they think is normal, putting them in an uncomfortable situation, but just expose them to a different environment than what they're used to. Because those same conversations I can have with a young man here, they change when I can take them and remove them from their environment. They change their response. So those conversations change when I can put them in a different environment.
The New Boy organization is hosting a night to celebrate the young people, families, and mentors in the program. It's Friday night at Martin University. And a man faces several serious charges after a multi-state search for an Indiana 13-year-old. The counts include sex crimes and kidnapping. The search started last Tuesday when police in Lafayette got a call about a runaway. Investigators say they learned the girl might be traveling with Kyle Miotke, a 20-year-old from Colorado. Lafayette police looped in authorities in other states, including Nebraska, where the state patrol found the pair almost immediately on Interstate 80. Miotke is in jail in Nebraska waiting for extradition to Indiana. Indiana State Police say a trooper is on the mend after being hit by a drunk driver twice in 3 months. ISP posted a picture of Keith Martin on social media. We aired it on Daybreak this morning on Wish TV. First told you about Martin's serious injuries as breaking news Monday morning. Police say the driver hit him as Martin was responding to a semi-fire on High School Road. Police later arrested the driver in Speedway. State police say making the choice to drink and drive, it's got a ripple effect.
And this one is being felt by Trooper Martin and his family, both physically, emotionally, and mentally. It's not easy on them. And so we want people to think twice, think 3 times before getting behind the wheel of a car after drinking alcohol.
Police say a drunk driver also hit Martin in late March. That time, he was inside his patrol car and escaped any serious injuries. Central Indiana's biggest power company is spending big to secure its system against extreme weather. AES says it's expecting to spend more than $1 billion modernizing the grid. The company is working with the Electric Power Research Institute using a program called Climate Ready to figure out the needs of the grid. The company says the goal is to keep the electricity supply dependable with extreme weather events happening more frequently. Over the next 3 years, AES will share data and insights with other providers through Climate Ready to make the power grid weather resistant. Gary officials say that they're reporting the state's second monkeypox case. It comes just days after the state health department reported the first probable case. City officials say the person is isolating. They say health regulators have also been in touch with possible close contacts. The Biden administration says it wants to cut the amount of nicotine in cigarettes to non-addictive levels. The initiative is part of the Biden administration's new unified agenda, setting goals for the country's regulatory agencies. The FDA estimates lowering nicotine levels would prevent more than 33 million people from becoming regular smokers. The process would play out over many months and possibly years, with FDA proposals, public comments, and likely a legal fight from tobacco companies. Parents in Indiana can now sign up their young children for COVID vaccines. The state health department announced yesterday that shots are now available for children 6 months to 5 years old. You can take a look at an updated map on ourshot.in.gov. That will show you where shots of both Pfizer and Moderna's vaccines are being offered. Indiana health leaders say many sites might require appointments because of the limited supply. They're asking for patience as more doses arrive in Indiana. The Supreme Court delivered several more decisions Tuesday as the end of the session nears. One ruling involves religion and public money. The justices say Maine's tuition assistance program must include religious schools. The decision says the state's non-sectarian requirement violates the First Amendment. The decision could lead to changes in at least 18 other states that have such restrictions. The court still has several more decisions to deliver, including a case that could lead to the end of the federal right to an abortion. The family of a man who died during an arrest is suing Indianapolis and police officers who were there. The wrongful death lawsuit filed this morning claims Herman Whitfield III was going through a mental health crisis inside his home at the time. Police say an officer deployed his taser twice and handcuffed him. The lawsuit also now accuses officers of ignoring Whitfield's repeated cries of "I can't breathe." His family says Whitfield was not a danger and there was no need to tase him. Whitfield's family is planning a news conference for this afternoon. Jurors in a California civil court case say Bill Cosby is liable and must pay his accuser $500,000. The verdict ends the case brought by the woman who was 16 years old when she says the comedian sexually assaulted her at the Playboy Mansion in 1975. The civil trial comes nearly a year after Cosby's criminal conviction for sexual assault was thrown out and he was freed from prison. His lawyers say they plan to appeal the verdict. Dante Wright's family will receive more than $3 million from the city of Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. The sum is part of a settlement after Wright's death in April of 2021. He was shot by former police officer Kim Potter during a traffic stop. Attorneys for Wright's family say the deal also includes new policies and training related to traffic stops. Potter was convicted of manslaughter for fatally shooting Wright. She's serving 2 years in prison. In breaking news we followed all morning long, now at least 1,000 people are confirmed dead from an earthquake that hit Afghanistan in the overnight hours. An Afghan emergency official updated the numbers throughout the morning, saying also some 1,500 people are injured. He's also expecting the death toll to rise. The 5.9 magnitude earthquake hit just before 1:30 local time this morning, 29 miles southwest of the city of Khost. It's near the country's border with Pakistan. The officials have also noted that since it hit in the middle of the night and also after monsoons hit this area, it became an especially critical situation. In the war in Ukraine, U.S. officials say they are appalled that Russian authorities suggested 2 captured Americans could be sentenced to death. The U.S. says Russia took Alexander Druky and Andy Wynn into custody last week. The Kremlin says the Geneva Convention, the international agreement banning the execution of prisoners of war, does not apply to them. Druky's aunt says that's wrong.
My appeal would be that Alex and Andy are POWs. They are prisoners of war, even if they were with this Ukrainian unit as third country volunteers. And as such, they should be treated that way. The Russians and their surrogates should afford them the humane treatment and the protections that are due to prisoners of war.
The State Department also confirmed the death of an American fighting in Ukraine. Stephen Zabielski's obituary says he died in a battle in May. The Justice Department is forming a team focused on war crimes in Ukraine. Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed Eli Rosenbaum to lead the team. Rosenbaum is well known for his work leading to the deportation or loss of citizenship of 100 Nazi war criminals. Garland made the announcement during a visit to Ukraine yesterday.
The United States is sending an unmistakable message. There is no place to hide. We and our partners will pursue every avenue available to make sure that those who are responsible for these atrocities are held accountable.
Garland says the team will include experts in human rights abuses and war crimes. The Justice Department is also sending 3 prosecutors to advise Ukraine. A new bipartisan gun safety bill is headed to a possible final vote this week. Senate negotiators finally reached a deal, releasing their 80-page bill 9 days after agreeing to the plan's framework. The Senate cleared the bill in a 64-34 vote last night. Indiana Senator Todd Young is one of 14 Republicans to vote yes with Democrats. Senator Mike Braun voted against the bill. The bill includes millions of dollars for mental health initiatives, school safety improvements, and crisis intervention programs. The measure also toughens background checks for the youngest of gun buyers. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says he expects the bill to pass in a matter of days.
I'm pleased that for the first time in nearly 30 years, Congress is back on the path to take meaningful action to address gun violence. I will now take the first steps to move this life-saving legislation on the Senate floor for a vote, with an initial procedural vote tonight, and following that, we will move to final passage as soon as possible. I expect the bill to pass the Senate by the week's end.
It's still not clear if the bill can get the 10 Republican votes needed in the House to overcome a filibuster. The Texas Public Safety Director is calling law enforcement's response to the Uvalde school shooting an abject failure. Colonel Steve McGraw testified yesterday in front of a Texas Senate committee investigating last month's attack. He says there is compelling evidence that officers armed with body armor were inside the school during the shooting.
1 hour, 14 minutes, and 8 seconds. You know, it's not just a lifetime, it's many lifetimes. And we can't have that in a post-Columbine environment.
McGraw also spoke about the shooter during his testimony. He says the shooter was on a pathway to violence at least 8 months before the attack, making several purchases for rifle accessories. Election workers and state and local officials testified Tuesday that former President Trump pressured them to overturn the 2020 election. The House committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riots held its 4th public hearing yesterday. The focus, the pressure on public officials in battleground states to reject ballots or submit alternate electors for the final tally in Congress. The panel also played phone calls between Trump and election officials in Georgia, urging them to reverse his loss there.
You know, you have the most important job in the country right now, because if we win Georgia, first of all, if we win, you're going to have 2 wins. They're not going to win right now. You know, they're down because the people of Georgia are so angry at what happened to me. They know I won by hundreds of thousands of votes. It wasn't close.
Trump also spoke with Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger on the phone about Raffensperger's resistance. The calls also referenced January 6th, the date of the certification which led to the insurrection.
Why wouldn't you want to find the right answer, Brad, instead of keep saying that the numbers are right? So look, can you get together tomorrow? And Brad, we just want the truth. It's simple.
Do you think they'll be working after Christmas and keep it going fast? Because, you know, we have that date of the 6th, which is a very important date.
The next House Select Committee hearing is tomorrow. It will focus on Trump's attempt to use the Justice Department to back his election disinformation. All right, if you're looking for some things to do around town, Indy's Burger Week is back. Nearly 20 different restaurants are participating in Indianapolis Burger Week. From now until Sunday, June 26th, burger lovers can grab a burger for just $7. Just download the Indy Burger app to see all the restaurant locations. Throughout the week, you can check into the restaurants and earn points. By checking into 4 restaurants, you're automatically entered to win a $250 gift card. And finally, Uber is using Indianapolis and a few other cities to relaunch ride pooling. Since the start of the pandemic, Uber rides have been limited to a driver and riders from one account. The launch of UberX Share in 9 cities, including Indianapolis, marks the return of rides where strangers share the fare. Uber says riders will be able to save up to 20% in total fare if they pool. No word yet on the start date, though. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.